it's Di here from Di's Den, and welcome to another Sunday video. This week I'm going to show you how I made this diamond easel card. Now it was inspired by a card that I saw done by Dawn Griffith, but for me it was just too small and I didn't like it, so I've done mine as a 7x5, and she also didn't put dimensions under this piece. She just relied on the tip of the easel to hold on to the tip of the designer series paper, and to me that, I don't know, it just didn't look right, and it still lies fairly flat, so it will still fit into a normal envelope for posting, so you know, 7x5 envelope. So this is the card we're going to be making. I made this one for my colour creation back in July, I think it was. Oh, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze, I can feel it coming on. And I was really happy with that. I did it with a Hues of Happiness paper, and as I say, you've seen me do quite a bit with these things and I absolutely love it. But this time we're going to do a Christmas card, and I'm going to be using, let me move these out of the way so we can see. We're going to be using Christmas Scotty and the Scotty Punch. Now I've punched out my dogs, and because I've got two, and bows, but we're going to be using these snowflakes along with Merry Christmas and May Your Days Be Fairy and Bright out of that set. I'm also using the Stylish Shapes, which are also, this is in the mini catalogue, these are in the annual catalogue, and these are beautiful. They have squares with a double stitch line, so you can use the negative or the positive, and circles, and flag end tags. So that's what we're going to be using. So I've got all of that all cut out ready to go, so let's pop them out of the way, and we're going to stamp in Poppy Parade because that's the colour I'm using. Okay, so there's my tags. I'm going to cut this one in half and put half at the top and half at the bottom, which we'll do that when we get there. There's my dogs that I've done, just cut it, punched out in some black card and some little red bows to go with it. So these are all the pieces we need. So let me get to the back bottom. So for our main card we're going to need two pieces. One piece that measures 7x5 and one piece that measures 7.5x5. Then we're going to need, for the back of our front piece, and I've put it down there, front back on my instructions, you're going to need a piece that measures, let me bring that up so I can read that a bit easier, a piece that measures 3.5, oh hang on, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. We're going to need a piece of, what have I done with that? Here we go, here we go. A piece for our diamond that measures 3.5 by 3.5. Then we're going to need for our back pieces a piece that measures 4 3/4 by 1 3/4 inches, which is this piece, and a piece that measures 4 3/4 by 2 1/4. My insert piece, which is this piece here, will measure 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. My diamond layers, layer 1, is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. My front layer here is, that goes on this one, 4.5 by 1.5, and this one is 4.5 by 2. My insert layer is a white piece that measures 4.5 by 2, and a DSP layer that measures 4.5 by, sorry, that's 4.5 by 2 1/4, 4.5 by 2. The diamond layer that goes on the top there is then 3 by 3, and then you just need the scraps to do the other. So let's get cracking. Let's pop all these pieces out of the way. I'll pop them like that so that I know that I've got them in the right order, and we're going to do a bit of scoring. So we'll bring in the scoreboard. Hang on, had the wrong board on top. There we go, we've got our scoreboard, and we're going to score a 7.5 inch piece along the long side at 1/2 inch. And remembering we're using the small end because we're actually scoring on card. On our 7-inch piece, we're going to score this at 2.5 and 5. So 2.5 and 5. We're then going to turn this onto the short side, and we're just going to use the pencil, and we're just going to put a little mark there at the 2.5-inch mark. Alright, making sure that it's on the end with the longer piece, not this short piece. Right, so you've got 2.5 ends piece, so it's on the 2.5 end side. Okay, so let's pop them out of the way for a second. Let's put our board down here, and now we're going to bring in our trimmer, and we're going to trim. Whoops, let's move that down there. This piece here. So where we put that little mark at the 2.5 inches, we're going to trim up to this first score line, this 2.5 inch score line. So from that mark to that 2.5 inch score line, we're going to pop our piece in the trimmer, making sure that it's lined up nicely, and cut that piece off like a triangle. And then we're going to do the same from the other side. We're going to go from that mark up to the first score line, and we're going to cut that piece off like so. So we have a triangular piece on the end here now. So we can pop that away, pop them in the bin, and just using our razor to remove that mark off the end of the card. There we go. So now we're just going to fold and burnish all these score lines. So our first score line is going to be a mountain fold. Our next score line is going to be a valley fold on this piece, so that it looks a bit like this, funny shaped. I'll pop that on an angle you can see. With our other piece, this is going to be a mountain fold, and we're just going to score that over like so, and then we're going to actually glue these two pieces of card together, making sure that this is on the inside of our card, so that when it sits down like this, this is sitting down like on the front. So we want this to be on the inside. So I'm just going to actually trim these pieces off just a tinsy bit on each end, because this way it goes together a lot better. Oh, it's sticky on these. Somebody used my scissors for the wrong purpose. Never mind. So we're going to pop some glue on this end here. And it's cold today, unlike yesterday when I was busy. It was nice and warm. And we're going to glue these two pieces together like so, making sure that they're butted up against each other nicely, like that, so that when they lay over, it looks like one piece of card. Now we couldn't do this out of one piece of card because this is actually way too long. I don't know how long it is. Got the wrong side. Over 12 inches long, so there's no way we could do that on one card. So that's our main piece of our card done. So that's our main shape of our card. So what we're going to do next is we're actually going to glue this piece down. We can glue this piece down flat, so that flap at the back where we've just added our other piece of card on is now going to be glued down flat. So make sure that you've got plenty of glue, especially along this score line here. And we're going to pop that over and glue that down so that that is flat along that edge. There we go. And while we're doing that, we're going to then, let's get our diamond piece here. I'm going to pop our diamond piece onto the front here, and that's going to sit onto there. So we're only going to want to add that to the halfway mark. So our best bet is to put our glue onto this diamond piece here. So once we've finished constructing the card, oops, sure I didn't get any glue under there. No, I didn't. I could have all over my fingers instead. We're going to finish constructing the card, and then we can do the rest of it. So that will sit together nicely, making sure that it comes down to the point nicely and it's over the top, not overlapping on one side or the other. And once again, make sure it's down nice and tight, like so. Once we've done that, we'll turn this to the inside just to give that an extra bit of oomph, if that makes sense. And that's why we want to make sure that we've glued right up against this edge here too. Okay, so that is our basic layout card. So now we're going to do our layers. So we're going to do our layers on the front, the back front. I call this the back front because this is the front of the card, right? But it is the back part of it. So I'll pop that out of the way, and we're going to glue these two pieces of designer series paper to our card. Now this is designer series paper that is free with your Stampin' Up! $90 Australian Stampin' Up! Order from the celebration, and I thought it's quite pretty, and it's Christmassy without being Christmassy, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm using this one, and there's only this month to go. So at the end of this month, now I put the glue in the wrong side. Let me show you what to do. If you do something like that, just wipe it on something and give it a dry and wipe it off. Now if you've got a glue that once it dries it's sticky, you will need to cut another piece. In my case, I have glue that is not sticky once it's dried, so I can actually do this again. Trust me to make a mistake. I wouldn't make a video if I didn't make a mistake, would I? So there we go, that's on there. Now the larger piece goes at the back here, and the smaller piece into that section there. So we can pop those into there. My piece is nice and dry now, so, and the glue that I use doesn't dry sticky. Like some of the glues that are available around the world dry sticky on the top, and then it's like, that's all tacky. If you do have a glue like that and you have an embossing buddy, you can always wipe your embossing buddy over it and it will actually take the sticky out. Okay, so we've done that. So now we're going to pop that back that way, and we're going to pop our layers onto our diamond piece here. When you're doing your diamond piece, you really need a paper that is non-directional, or a direction that it doesn't matter if it's on an angle, like in my case. It doesn't matter that that's going to be the opposite to those. That's my diamond on the top of there. Now we're going to pop this back out of the way here, and we're going to work on the inside pieces. We've got these three pieces, and we're only going to pop in, whoops, doesn't matter, it's on that. I'm only going to pop in the bottom layer for a moment. So pop in our bottom layer, and this piece is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, so it doesn't matter which way around it goes, as long as you leave a nice border all the way around, like that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to stamp our piece of white with our saying in the Poppy Parade, which is not on the block very straight. I like to use my grid lines here to get my saying straight. And this one says, may your day be furry and bright. And then we're going to pop some of these in the top right hand corner and the bottom left hand corner. Okay, I'll pop the lid back on that for a moment because we haven't got to the other bit. And we're going to pop this on the inside of this card. Let's move that piece out of the way. And we're going to pop this into the inside of the card nice and flat. Again, leaving a nice border on 3 sides around here, like so. And once we've done that, we can pop that on one side and we can pop some dimensions onto the back of this. They're actually called dimensionals, and I don't know why, but I was looking at some videos the other day and one of mine popped up and I kept saying dimensions, and they're actually dimensionals. I don't know why. I've looked at a couple of videos because Mum was here. I was actually caring for my mum, and I noticed that I've been doing it for a long time. So we pop those dimensionals onto the back of our piece of designer series paper, and we're going to pop this out of the way, and we're going to pop this one down the bottom here with the same kind of gap on 3 sides, but this will be a little bit wider here so that this can fit in here like so. And that's our piece for there. How gorgeous does that look already? So we'll pop that down, we'll bring in our pieces here. So we'll stamp this piece now with our Merry Christmas, which looks like I did not clean that after I used it last. How naughty of me. I didn't, and I've got a little bit of green along the bottom. You know what? Because there's green in that, I'm not going to even worry about it. Okay, so that's all of our stamping done. I'm going to cut this piece in half, lengthwise, and place it on the back. Now you've seen me do this before. You just pop a little bit of glue along one edge and bring this in. Like so. Get that nice and even. Oh, that's a bit too much. That looks better. And the same along the other edge. And to me that just sort of gives it a bit of, I don't know what you want to call it, a bit of direction. So let's pop some dimensionals. I'm getting there, I'll get there. These are really weird ones too though. They're actually stuck to the other piece of paper and you have to pull them off very carefully, and it's really quite annoying. Half of it was good, the other half was bad. So there we go. So let's pop them on there. And we'll pop our Merry Christmas into the middle of the card here, like so. Now I have 2 dogs, and I'm going to put one way and one the other so that they're facing each other, look like they're kissing each other. And again I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back. So oops. should have brought some of the small ones over. I didn't bring any small. Oh yes I did. Yes I did. I did bring the small ones over. Oh, I'm lucky, aren't I? Because I need some on the tail. There we go. One up on the tail here. On both sides. And I need them for my bows. Okay, oops, I'm laying that down flat so that I can actually see where I'm going off, because I want to make sure that his tail is stuck on there. And he's going to be nose to nose with him. He's a bit too far over, he needs to go over a tiny bit more. I should have not popped them down too tightly. There we go, nose to nose, like so. I'm going to pop some dimensions on, dimensionals. I keep saying dimensions. I've said it for so long, I think. Onto the back of the bows here, to pop onto the Scotty dogs. Okay, so I have some gems here. These are called red and green adhesive black back dots. Now, I don't know where gold and silver comes into it, but they're red and green according to the label. Here we go. I have used these before, and there are some, I wouldn't really call them extremely red, they're more of a pinky red, and this is more like mint macaroni colour, and then there's silver and gold. So I'm going to just use some silver ones here to put a little eye onto each dog. Like so, and then I have some champagne rhinestones that I'm going to pop around. So I'm going to pop, I've got a couple of medium sized ones here, so I'm going to pop one medium size into the middle of the bows. That's not in the middle, is it? Come on, that's better. And let's see, some larger ones around there, and just one on the end of the Merry Christmas. So what do you think? I think it's gorgeous, and I love the way he stands on there. I haven't put the dimensions down here on his feet because I knew that he would stick off the ends there. It's very close, but it's not hanging off. So that's my card for today. Let me pop him up on an end so you can see him better. What do you think? I love it. I absolutely love it. It looks gorgeous as a Christmas card. This is the one I did for my colour creation, and this was my prototype one because I had to do all the measurements the way I wanted them. So that's all done with retired products, and I actually really love the way that's turned out too. And that's our card for today. If you would like the written tutorial for this, please head over to Diane's Den for stamping, crafting and tutorials. You will find the link down below here. If you would like to purchase any of these products and you live in Australia, please put me in as a demonstrator when you go to the Stamping Up website. You will find, you can just go and put your order in, or you can ring me or email me, which you'll find the links down below for all of that. Or PM me, and I can help you with that. But if you put where it says demonstrator, if you put my name in there, it helps me as well, and I will be very grateful. And I will see you all again next week. Bye for now.